For the Mirror of Erised, a magical artifact is missing, and it's up to you and your friends to figure out what it is and who may have taken it. Professor Dumbledore and McGonagall look quite worried about something. Oh, shit. Watcher, have you heard? The professors all woke up today about some lost magical artifact. They do look a bit concerned about something. Do we know what's gone missing? But they seem quite keen to get it back. Why do you think they are so concerned about finding the magical artifact? Perhaps this is dangerous and Dumbledore is concerned for the students if we get hold of it. That makes sense. Hogwarts certainly has its share of dangerous magical artifacts. Is it one that I'm more interested in if it's dangerous? One thing for sure, Mr. Flinch and all the teachers will be looking for this missing artifact. What do you mean? Are you up to something? Maybe we are, maybe we aren't. Finding the missing artifact it's important. That's exactly why we are interested in whatever it is. Well, we can't let you leave until we know exactly what you're up to, so tell us. Whatever the missing artifact is, it's gone missing for a reason, so Esmeralda and I intend to find it first, and we don't plan to give it back to the headmaster until we get our fun with it. That's a terrible idea. I'm not interested in what you think about my ideas. Wants to help the headmaster find the lost artifact. Perhaps we will return it to Dumbledore before you cause any trouble with it. You'll definitely need luck to beat us to it, and first you need to figure out what that's gone missing, which is why we are going to bring in the help of a few friends. The hunt for the headmaster's missing magical artifact is on. I've been looking for Professor Spout. Have you seen her? Helping a friend with a paper. Well, look who's here found the missing artifact yet. Not even sure what we are looking for yet, but we are confident we are going to beat you to it. Then you'll have to beat me too. You're working with Mula and Esmeralda, aren't you? Not surprised. A lot of students are interested in the missing magical artifact because they want a chance to experience its magical powers. I heard Penny wants to get the artifact back to the headmaster, so I'm only hanging out with Mula to get a lead on what the object might be. Suppose that makes a bit more sense, even if I don't like it. Is the one who told me what's going on, and I couldn't resist the idea of the missing artifact. Enough prattling on. We still need to figure out exactly what we are looking for. I say we all brainstorm together to figure it out. Why would we talk about any of this with you? We are trying to beat you to the whole missing artifact. If you and Penny are convinced you can figure it out first, then you shouldn't be worried we'll beat you to it. Seems as if we are working together to figure out what's missing was a good idea. Sounds like the pensieve could be missing, or maybe even the sword of Gryffindor or the Sorting Hat. And hopefully learn a lesson about why you suddenly stopped. What Mr. Flinch was overheard saying, that catching us before we look into the glass makes the most sense. has lost the mirror of Erised. All that this fuss about the mirror, is he worried about combing his beard the one direction or something? The mirror Erised shows the ritual wizard looking into the ultimate heart's desire. Now that's something I'm excited to see. I bet I'll see myself performing the ultimate prank on Tonks. I have so many dark desires I want to witness. We'll see about that. Darkus and I make a pretty brilliant team. Less talking, more searching. Let's go. Is so cocky, but she's also quite smart. I don't know how we'll find the mirror first. You're smart as well, so perhaps we find the mirror by doing what you do best. Exactly, it's time to go to the library and learn everything we can about the famed mirror of Erised, or whatever the fuck. I was hoping Professor Dumbledore was missing a magical creature. Thanks for meeting me to research. Thank you for gathering all these books. Have you learned anything that may help? I'll tell you everything I know so far. If we learn as much as we can about the mirror, perhaps we'll beat Miula and our other friends and finding it. Especially if we can return this opponent artifact before anything bad happens to it. Let's study up. We have learned a bit more about the mirror's origins, including when it was made and what it might look like. With its gold frame and inscriptions, it says here the inscriptions read, Erised stra iru ot ub kafu uit on wushi. It certainly sounds quite powerful and intriguing. I can understand why the headmaster wants it back. Good thing Miula isn't here. Reading about the mirror of Erised may make her want to find it even more. I'm not sure I would even want to see what my heart's desire was in the mirror. I noticed you're reading about the mirror of Erised. You wouldn't be trying to find it, would you? We are looking for the mirror. Professor Dumbledore is quite keen to get it back, and we would like to help him. For your teachers, and you would be wise to heed my advice. The mirror of Erised is a powerful object, and the reflection one sees there could be compelling, alluring, and even mystifying. It's not to be trifled with, especially by immature students. It seems like something that would be hidden away quite carefully. And even a wiser witch or wizard may argue that the hiding place would need to be wisely hidden as well. But enough about that. A library is for silent learning and not prattling on. May have just given us a clue to where the mirror of Erised is hidden. You mean hiding in a place that is hidden itself? To the room of requirement, rumor says it's located off one of the corridors on the 7th floor. But if the mirror has gone missing, why do we even need to find the room of requirements? If that's where it was kept, it's clearly not there anymore. We don't need to find the room itself. Maybe if we search the corridors, we might find a clue to where the mirror went. I will not warn you again. It's time to go search the corridors from Barnaby Lee and Talbot Winga. You wanted to meet us here? Is this about your hunt for the mirror of Erised? And thanks both for coming. Want to find the mirror before Professor Dumbledore does, so they can look into it. It would be quite fun to look in as well. I didn't say it would be fun, I said it would be meaningful. Fun is easier, and I don't think I understand what you mean by meaningful. I mean that what the mirror of Erised will show you could be profound and powerful vision, perhaps of internal contentment or even unknown joy. But I guess the matter of opinion would looking in the mirror be a right lock like I expect it to be, English, or perhaps a profound reflection to be carefully considered. What do you think? Not sure what I think the experience of looking into a mirror would be. We don't know that much about it yet. Or if we should, I suppose you could be right, but I do find myself wanting to look. All I know right now is the headmaster really wants to get the mirror of Erised back and beat him and Esmeralda is to it is the best way to do it. So why did you ask us to meet here? May have been hidden in an unplottable room somewhere nearby. I've heard rumors about that place. We know the mirror has likely been taken from there. Perhaps there's a clue here for English. Let's check around for anything that's unusual. So let's search for clues where the. Thanks for your help, Sochin. It seems like the only unusual thing in this hall is its plant pod. It was quite green though, and you don't see those in the halls too often. Like I said, the Niffler would be searching for something shinier and smaller than the mirror of Erised. But this plant could be a clue. I believe that's from a pufferpod plant, though I've only seen those in the herbology classroom, and those books were about herbology as well. Was here and even knows what happened to the mirror. I'm off to the herbology classroom. So glad your hunt for clues to where the mirror of Erised may be disappeared to have paid off. We don't know the clues paid off quite yet, but the herbology books and sprig pufferpod plant definitely led me to want to talk to Professor Sprout. Apparently looking for her earlier, no one has seen her today. That's it, it's the mirror of Erised. You can tell by the frame. Should I look into it? I can't make that decision for you, only you can choose if you want to look. And I do prefer to follow the rules. Seem to really want the mirror back right away. He must have good reasons, and I wouldn't want to look without his permission. Doing in here before class. We were looking for you. We heard you have been gone all day. I left early for a trip to Hogsmeade and where I was retrieving supplies. But Professor, why do you have the mirror of Erised? That's any of your business. Actually, it's quite important, Professor. Will you please explain it to us? I'll tell you why I brought the mirror of Erised to my classroom. Perhaps I should have talked to Professor Dumbledore before I moved the mirror. I certainly didn't expect it to cause such a stir, and we don't mean to bother you about it. We were just trying to find the mirror before some of our friends. You said you were quite eager to find it, but I still don't understand why. I think it's best we should hold that story for Professor Dumbledore. If he's concerned about what happened to the mirror, we should see him right away. Let's go see Dumbledore to tell him we found a missing mirror. It's gonna be gone. But it goes missing again. Who would have thought? I came as soon as you sent word. I believe Pomnona was about to explain how she came into possession of the missing mirror. Let me tell you everything, and you should listen quite closely as well. I expect Professor Sprout's explanation may shed some light on why I was concerned. I'm eager to hear the tale myself. I've been trying my best to save one of the first puffer pods I ever planted. It's quite important to me, as I have always wanted to grow a greenhouse full of plants from it. But it sounds like the plant's dying and you can't get the seedlings to blossom either. I realize I may have to let my dear puffer pod go. I believe that perhaps if I looked into the mirror of Erised, it would show me my heart's desire, and it did. I saw a greenhouse full of thriving puffer pods born from my first, joyously exploding everywhere with life. How grand and lovely it was. At first, I was so relieved. The mirror gave me what I desired, but I must admit, it brought me such joy I haven't wanted to return it. Apologize for causing any concern, and thank you for bringing the kerfuffle it caused to my attention. I suppose that you must think me quite silly for caring so much about Puffer Pod. You can understand. You love your plants, and this was your first. And I'm glad you got to see your heart's desire realized by looking in the mirror. I appreciate you coming with me to see the headmaster as you brought this to my attention. And it's especially right and rare to see in a student. Let this be a lesson for us all. While the images in the mirror often bring comfort, they can also make people become fixated on a future that may not be possible. You use this mirror for a good reason, and I'm glad it gave you the ability to let go of your beloved plants, but that's when the mirror may work best in allowing you to move on. There's a danger in becoming seduced by the image men have wasted away in the visage it projects. No need, you're a teacher here at Hogwarts. You have access to many of our magical treasures. It is your right and privilege to use them. I think it's best to avoid students getting involved with the mirror. We should see it return at once. Do you have any of your classmates know you learn of the location of the mirror? And she was determined to return it to you. She would be here herself if Professor Snape hadn't asked her for help with something. As well as you both come in to talk to me, but we need to retrieve the mirror at once. There you are, but it looks like you have already moved the mirror. I wish that were true. What do you mean? It's been stolen. Let's not jump to conclusion. Thievery implies ill intent. It's mostly likely someone who else realized the mirror had been found and simply wanted to gaze into it. But then why would they move the mirror? Perhaps, like Professor Sprout, they wanted more time to enjoy what they saw. Though I'm afraid I'll need to ask you an important question now. Do you know who may have removed the mirror? Suppose it could be one of my friends. Many of the students were intrigued just knowing a magical artifact went missing, and only got more interested once they heard it was the mirror and what it could do. I won't force you to tell me who you might suspect without knowing for sure, but I would appreciate it if you would let me know should you learn who indeed has it in the possession. We should go talk to Mr. Flinch. He often knows about most about what's happening within the castle. And while we consult Mr. Flinch, perhaps Mr. Dane might search for clues. I'll get way into it. Time to search for the class. I've searched the entire herbology classroom, and I must admit, Dennis, your presence is quite a clue, because it could mean that your owner is the one who took the mirror. And since I know she wanted to look in it quite badly, I'm off to find Tulip. There you are. I was wondering where you have hopped off to. In the herbology classroom, no, he's not what I was looking for when I got there. What were you searching for? Don't be coy. You know what I was searching for, so be honest with me. Do you have the mirror? I know you were looking for it as well. Professor Sprout had it in the greenhouse for a while. If you have the mirror, it's time to confess. Dumbledore really wants the mirror back. But you wanted to find the mirror, so what's changed? I looked into the mirror. I think you better tell me everything right away. What did you see when you gazed into the mirror? So you hoped you'd see you and Tonks playing the ultimate prank together when you looked into the mirror. That's what I thought my heart desire was. Then it turns out I saw a nightmare. I was looking at the Ministry of Magic just like my parents. Thankfully Tonks was there too. But I hate rules and the rule following. I never work for the Ministry. The mirror must be broken. I don't think the mirror can show you a nightmare, and it can't predict the future either. Were you happy in your vision? That's the worst part. Looking in the mirror has me questioning everything I know about myself. Do I really love pranks as much as I thought? Should I be more serious about my studies? What am I? You're a Tulip Kossuru, and you still love pranks. But I expect this is exactly what Professor Dumbledore was worried about. Clearly, you can see now that the mirror message can sometimes be confusing. Then will you help me bring the mirror back? I would, but I don't have it anymore. I gave it to Talbot. For fuck's sakes. Owly. I'm glad you're still here. Is that the mirror? Isn't it splendid? He's quite cheery, which is bizarre, and you look rather glum. You don't know the half of it. You need to know Professor Dumbledore is still looking for the mirror, don't you? But I have been a bit distracted since I managed to move it to the Owly using some magic. That's good, since it doesn't belong to us. Borrowed it for a while, but the teachers now want it back. You see, the mirror's reflection can be quite powerful, according to the headmaster. Because I've already looked in the mirror. Yes, does that disappoint you? No, it doesn't disappoint me at all. You can make your own decisions. You are my friend, and I would respect your opinion if you didn't agree with my actions. Nevertheless, I must admit I don't regret looking into the mirror. Allow me to explain what happened. Blimey, Talbot, this is a powerful image you saw reflected in the mirror. It was incredible to be with my family. We were all older, happier. My mom retired and working on her garden, summoned by the pumpkins, surrounded by pumpkins. My father still waiting for the daily profit. At least you had your dream job, and you weren't some ministry stooge. To them, in the reflection of the mirror, it was as if the Death Eaters never came. Our family was together again. See, dream job, that's your heart's desire. Alright. I must say, the mirror is mystifying and entrancing, and I'm drawn to look again. That's exactly what Dumbledore warned Professor Sprout about. And perhaps it's a good reason the mirror should go back to him right away. That's not for you to decide. You don't understand what's happened, and we don't care. We all want our chance to look in the mirror. So we are taking it with us. Maybe Mueller's right. Everyone should have a chance to experience the mirror. If you want to make your case for giving it back to Dumbledore, then you can meet us in the Defense Against the Dark Arts classroom after nightfall. Part 3. Your friends want to look into the mirror, but Dumbledore still wants it back. Can you convince them to return in the mirror? Probably not. I was wondering if you'd show up. You didn't give me much choice. You're basically holding the mirror hostage. We just want our chance to look for the mirror before you and Haywood give it back to Dumbledore. Smart to ask the headmaster if we can look in the mirror, Mueller. If I should gaze into the mirror when we first found it. Made it clear that it was my own choice if I wanted to look. But I realized that Dumbledore's concern meant I should wait. Just give us a chance to make our case. Whoever's looked in the mirror, had a very different reaction. Won't you even listen to those stories before you look? It could change how you feel. Tell us about what people saw. So let me be sure I'm understanding this. Tulip was upset because it turns out she may actually want to work for the Ministry of Magic, but Spare and Ringo saw exactly what they always wanted. So how's that a bad thing? They were tempted to keep going back to the mirror. Its power over people can be unpredictable. I'm the most powerful witch. I can handle a mirror's magical powers, which is why Barnaby, Esmeralda, and I are all going to look for the mirror. What do you see? I think I have to go. I want to be alone. Don't even want to talk about it. That certainly didn't seem to go well. I'm not sure what happened, but now more of our friends seem upset. So perhaps we're telling them you should wait at least until we check on our friends. I'll get the mirror back to somewhere safe with Talbot and Tulip. You go after Barnaby, Esmeralda, and Mila. Which is why I intend to find. Go to the cave for magical creatures. There you are. I like to come visit the magical creatures sometimes. You love magical creatures more than anything. That's why I left after looking at the mirror. I saw my heart's desire, but then I realized something else. I'm not sure if I feel like talking about it though, as your friend. Perhaps you could convince me. But we are going to need the help of some Nifflers as well. Why don't we play with the Nifflers and you can tell me what you saw? I'll tell you what I saw. You saw yourself searching for the cave. Yourself teaching the cave magical creatures class right here at Hogwarts. That's an excellent vision to see reflected in the mirror. Just think about how great it would be to help other students realize how great magical creatures are. So why did you seem upset? Shows you something that makes you happy, doesn't predict the future. And I know I'll never be smart enough to be a real professor, so maybe I should just give up on school altogether. Can you give me a good reason why I shouldn't? Your friends would miss you, And I expect you would miss us too. That's definitely true. I may even be Miss Mueller, though I'm not quite sure about that one. You can't leave the people you care about, not because of some vision in the mirror. You have to stay at Hogwarts. I appreciate you trying to convince me, but I'm not sure what to do after looking. Maybe there's something else that would make sense of all this, but I don't know what it is. The reflection you saw in the mirror was clearly important to you. We'll sort this all out. By the way, how will Ismelda and Mule after they looked into the mirror? I'm wondering that too. I'll figure out a way to help you, and I'll send you an owl when I have. Perhaps we can finally return the mirror to Dumbledore. Sit down and have some butterbeer. You are offering me butterbeer? That's different. And the reflection I saw in the mirror. You're the one who wanted to talk to us. We are here, so get on with it. Barnaby and Ms. Ismelda all left so quickly. Penny and I were confused and concerned. I needed to be alone to revel in what I saw, and then told Marilla we had to celebrate. What did you see in the mirror? I saw myself telling everyone in my life exactly how I felt, and over again. In the reflection I saw, I didn't even have to listen to them whine about it. Everyone just accepted it as I was right. Snark all you want. It was my true heart's desire. That's my business, not yours. I'm just trying to help. Barnaby is having a hard time with his vision, even though it was a happy one. I want to help him sort it out. Perhaps if I knew more about what you saw, I could help you all as well. Since you probably won't let this go, saw myself as someone I thought I'd never see again. If you saw it, then it must be your deepest heart's desire. Wants us to return the mirror, and since it sounds like looking into it again is important to you, perhaps now is the right time. We got to look in the blast of the thing already, and Dumbledore isn't going to let you keep the mirror, so put maybe Hayward and Penny alright. Hayward and Dan alright. It's time it went back already. And this sounds like something we should talk about right away. So Tulip and Mula are for returning the mirror to the headmaster now. Though Barnaby might need to look at it in it again, and to be encouraged before it goes back. And Ismelda and even Talbot aren't sure they are ready to let it go. Don't be greedy, mongrel. And you don't call me names. Just because you don't want to talk about your heart's desire doesn't mean I should be denied enjoying mine. It's not like the two of you will be. It's not like the two of you to be fading, at least with each other. Perhaps Dumbledore had a point about us not looking into the mirror after all. Though I imagine you're surprised to hear that from you. Professor Dumbledore said the mirror is powerful. Perhaps you just needed to learn that lesson for yourself. Penny believes we need to fix things before we return the mirror, which means helping you all sort out your feelings. It would take someone with big opinions to figure out what to do with this lot. The person I have in mind is big, alright. In fact, he's a half giant. I'm going to see Hagrid to get advice from him, and perhaps once I do, we will finally be able to return the mirror. Hello there. He has been filling me in on your latest adventure. It seems you have already found Dumbledore's missing artifact, the Mirror of Erised. Twice, that's true. First, we learned the Professor Spout had borrowed the mirror, but then we went back to retrieve it from herbology class, and it was gone. Turns out Talbot Winner and Tulip had it and had both looked into it. Then Mila and some of her friends remained in their tone, but they were also either upset or excited by what they saw. I have been trying to sort them all out ever since, but people are confused and no one will agree on what to do with the mirror now. Some of our friends want to give it back right away, others never want to give it back. I see. I was hoping you would help me figure out what to do next. Together we are sure to come up with a solution. That would be brilliant, so let's make a plan to solve the problem surrounding the mirror. If your friends are this confused by these visions, you need to sort them out right quick. Talking about it a bit more definitely helped you see what we need. How we're supposed to sort out our friends when we don't know much else about the mirror. Sounds to me like what you need is an expert. There's only one I can think of off the top of my head. He's who you should be talking to, not me. You mean the headmaster? I'm afraid I do. Now that I know you have got the mirror, would be one of me not to tell the Professor, Dumbledore. But you're better off doing it yourself, if you ask me. I know I said we should try to help our friends before we return to the mirror. I agree with Hagrid. The person who would know how to deal with these reactions to the mirror the best is the headmaster. You're probably right, but there's a lot to explain, and I don't want Dumbledore to be angry. Ah, shit. I skipped that. Or you could speak with from the heart. The headmaster is often very nurturing. How do you think you should approach Dumbledore? I'll speak from the heart when I explain why we didn't bring the mirror back right away. We were trying to help our friends sort through the feelings. Professor Dumbledore is sure to appreciate that we put our friends' well-being first, and we always intended to bring the mirror back as soon as we helped them. Why do I keep skipping what Hagrid says? Thanks Hagrid. I hope Professor Dumbledore will be able to help us and help our friends, and that he will be happy to soon have the mirror back. Part 4. You seek Dumbledore's advice and try to convince your friends that the mirror should be returned. Alright, see the headmaster. Watch you. Good luck talking to the professor. I'll never understand why these children can't eat more quietly. Still thinking about the reflection I saw. Professor Dumbledore, can I speak to you for a moment? I've been expecting you. Thank you. I asked you to see you because I wanted to speak from my heart, and for you to know I have the best intentions with what I'm about to tell you. My friends and I found a mirror. Some of them wanted to look in it, and so they have. And I need your help sorting them out so I can finally return the mirror to you. I appreciate your clearly heartful concern about your friends. As I said, when you are speaking with a Professor Spout, compassion in a student is right and rare. Though that sounds quite serious, I need you to tell me exactly what's happened. What you have described in regards to the mirror is not unusual. This is the power of the mirror, and people can waste away obsessing over what it reflects. I wish there was a way to help my friends make some sense of their feelings, and also for the others to be satisfied knowing they got a chance to look into the mirror at all. and ignore the present, which can be a great shame. The past is the past, and the future is always uncertain. The moment we live in, where we should always aim to focus on our minds and hearts. You will do well to take heed of this lesson, as you are often focused on custom mysteries rather than where you are now. Do you see how staying present in the moment rather than chasing the future could be beneficial to you? Believe I can focus on the present and look to the future. It's all part of the same journey. And this is quite helpful. I'm glad you think so. Though there's something else people do not understand about the mirror. What a person sees in the mirror is not written in stone. It can change if the greatest desire changes as well. I think you have given me exactly what I need to help my friends. But my patience is running thin. I will allow you one more chance to return the mirror. Then I will intervene. I'll do my best to see the mirror return once and for all. Alright, here we are. I hope this isn't about returning the mirror. Since we magically moved it back to here to the hourly, it is about a mirror. I've confessed to Professor Dumbledore that we have it, but he's allowing me to talk to you all before the teachers retrieve it. I wouldn't call it snitching. Why don't we let Darko speak for himself? Why did you tell Dumbledore? Oh, I just wanted us all to stop fighting about keeping the mirror and giving it back. It was exciting to see a rare magical artifact, but it ended up causing a lot of problems. I'm not mad at you for talking to the headmaster. Maybe I should take one more look in the mirror to see my heart's desire. I'll admit it will be hard to say goodbye. The mirror's my only way for me to see my family. That mirror's broken if it thinks I want to work in the ministry. I have different reasons for wanting to keep the mirror or let it go. But if you listen, I think I can make you see that it's actually just distracting you. You really don't need the mirror at all to know your heart's desire. You do make many good points. I just want you to see that the mirror made you all focus on something that's already inside you. It's your heart desire. You don't need the mirror to feel it or even to finally achieve it someday. Maybe if I study more, I can make the reflection in the mirror I saw come true someday. And since the reflection in the mirror can change if my heart's desire changes, I could still be a master prankster. It will always be with me in my heart. I don't need the mirror to feel that. Focusing on the future means we are not living in the present. Your heart's desire could stay the same or change, but perhaps that's what makes life worth living. I'm going to be telling you all exactly how I feel even more often now. You didn't need to convince me to give the mirror back. Our time with the fame magical artifact was exciting, but now it should go back to where it belongs. Perhaps he will even allow me to look in the mirror. It certainly is good to have this precious artifact back. What will happen to the mirror now? It will be returned to a special place hidden within the castle, unless I decide to move it again. Well, don't worry, I don't think my friends will go looking for the mirror a second time. I trust they will not, but I must thank you for your help in locating the mirror. Though I do wonder about the reflections your friends witnessed in it, and what they may have learned from them. Perhaps you could share how you helped your peers? And I'm sure the mirror of Erised made an impression on all those who gazed into it. such a fascinating journey. It appears your friends learn more about your time with the mirror than I realized, and that you helped them embrace valuable lessons as a result. Though I can't help but notice you never looked in the mirror yourself. I was too busy trying to return it to you and helping my friends, and that you respected my wishes. Though from our discussion, it's clear you have come to understand the mirror's power. So before I stow it away once again, I'd like to give you a choice. Would you like to look into the mirror? Might as well. Like, what's the point of not looking into the mirror? I would love to look into the mirror. Yeah, I figured it would just be my brother and Warren. Now, it was incredible. It felt so real. I was with Warren and my brother. It was so amazing seeing us all together. Loved ones often represent our deepest heart's desire, but wish that we all will really be together someday. The rest is in the appreciation that the mirror could show you that desire. And now that your adventure with the mirror is complete, I have something special just for you. For returning one of my favorite magical artifacts. It's a little mirror. Huh, that's funny. As this one just shows you a reflection. Looks like a smaller version of the mirror. And though this mirror is not magically empowered to show your heart's desire, it always reminds you of your time with the mirror and the lesson you learned on your journey. That was sick. Thanks for watching. Catch you next time, and peace.